Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Merly on Time. Thanks for taking the time to tune in and check the channel out. My name is Chris and I unbox and review budget watches, and today I am reviewing this Aragon Caprice World Time watch that was gifted to me by my friend Steve at the Watch Corner from his personal collection. He sent this in to me, and you can see the live unboxing and reveal and my response right here. Check that video out. And this is just a beautiful watch. So thanks again to Steve for sending this in to me. We're going to start by getting up close and personal, the little montage that I do from time to time. And then we'll get supercali out to spec this baby out. This is a large watch. Aragon does make some pretty bulky pieces, and this certainly fits into that category. It has a lot of wrist presence, beautiful dial on it, GMT function on it, and I just love it. I have very few negative things to say about this watch. And so if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet already, please hit subscribe. I always appreciate when you comment on the video and give me feedback on what you think of these watches. And so please, if you're watching, let me know what you think of this watch as you see the review. And thanks so much for supporting the channel Merly on Time. So with that, let's begin with an up-close personal look at this Aragon Caprice World Time. It's time for supercali to come and to measure this beast for us. But before we get to that, just check out what I am wearing today. This is the Islander ISL 19 from LongIslandWatch.com. Mark's version, homage to the Seiko SKX 007. This is in my top box. I absolutely love this thing. Actually, next to the Seiko orange dial that I have, Seiko Sports 5, this is my favorite watch. So it is time for supercali. Say hello, supercali. Well, hello again, everybody. Hey, what do you think of this one? Wow, what a great looking watch. Well, let's measure it up, okay, supercali, and then we'll talk some more. And so, as I said, this is a big watch, guys, and it measures in between those two crowns 48, almost 49 millimeters. If we measure from the crown to the side of the case, both these crowns are the same size. We're looking at 53 millimeters. It has a band width at the lugs, or a lug width, of 24. And the case thickness from the case back to the crystal is 13. So it's really not that bad thick-wise, but it is a big boy. And the lug to lug, I imagine it's going to be pretty sizable too. Let's just get the lug to lug for you here. And it is 56. 56 millimeters. What do you think, Supercali? That was huge! And hey, Supercali, if there's anywhere in the world, since we're talking about a world time watch, that you would like to go, where would that be? Well, Dodo Brains, my name is Supercali, so obviously I would like to go to California. Duh! Well, I am sorry. You were very rude. As you can see, I had to muzzle Supercali. How rude she was to me. Well, you shouldn't have been so rude. All right, so let's talk about this Aragon Caprice World Time watch. I absolutely love the dial on this watch. As you can see, the rehaut there has the cities, major cities of the world, so that you can tell the time in other cities of the world if that's something that you need to do. This is a GMT watch, and so you can see the red GMT hand there sitting at almost the 9 o'clock. It is almost 9 a.m. as I am recording this. I love this dial. I love the color, that nice vibrant blue. I love the red that is highlighted on the seconds hand and on that GMT hand, as well as the 24-hour indicators around the dial next to the indices. Just give that bit of pop and just a bit of burst on this dial as well. It is a mineral crystal covering the dial, a nice flat piece of mineral crystal, and this is just a beautiful watch. The crowns are signed with I imagine that to be the Aragon logo. I'm not sure if it is the Caprice World Time, something to do with that, or if this is a standard Aragon logo. The case back, as you can see, has the name World Time wing engineered, has the Swiss Ronda 515 movement in it, so that'll be the Swiss parts that are a part of this watch. It did come on this really nice leather band, and as you can see, it does have quick release spring bars so that you can swap these out. It is a 24 millimeter wide band, and so you may not be able to find too many, but Strapsco has different options for 24 millimeters, and I'm sure they're out there, but they're not as swappable as, say, the 20 millimeter size would be. But this is a massive watch, and so I just love the dial. You can see Aragon. It's applied the Aragon name at the 12 o'clock. All of the stick indices are applied as well. The Dauphine hands that you can see for the hour and the minute hand, they are loomed, and the loom on those hour and minute hands is actually pretty decent for this watch. And the case is nicely finished. Got some finger smudges on it there, and that certainly didn't help. It's just all polished, all array around the lugs. It's got a little bit of a bevel there leading up to the fixed bezel that's holding in that mineral crystal glass there. And it does have a screw down crown. It does have a date window at the 3 o'clock, so it is a quick set date. And it's really nice action on the crown, really smooth, nice clicking pop when you get it to the unthreaded, I should say, and then the first click, it's a nice distinct click, and that will change the date for you. So let me just zip through this and get it back to the 1st. It's August already. Isn't that crazy? And a click in, and of course the second click will hack the seconds hand, and you can set the time. And oh, actually I shouldn't say that. The second click out, or the first click out where we change the date, you turn it clockwise to change the date, and then to set the GMT hand you will turn it counterclockwise, and you can see the GMT hand going around there, and we're almost to the 9 a.m. and so I'm going to put it back to there. And yeah, screw down crown does provide for the water resistance rating on this watch, which is 100 meters. And so this is a really nice, it's just a really nice watch. I am really, really pleased with it. I like the finishing on the watch. I like the band that the watch came on. Although, you know, water resistance is kind of a moot point. You know, you're not going to go swimming with a leather band, but it does provide some nice water resistance. If you want to put a rubber strap on it, you can rock it at the beach and go in the water, no problem at all with this one. A couple of things that, you know, I don't like about the watch, and these are just, it has nothing to do with the quality of the watch. Again, the size. You saw the specs that supercali did before I had to muzzle her. It is absolutely a huge watch. The lug to lug it spans my entire wrist, and I have just over 7.5 inch wrist. I round down, but it's actually a little bit bigger than 7.5 inches, and you know, this is spanning all of that and then some. And of course you have, you know, it's a large case at 46 millimeters, was it? And, you know, with the crowns, it was even bigger. And so, you know, they are obviously catering to larger wrists. This isn't something that you are going to wear if you have a 7-inch wrist, even 7.25-inch wrist. This is going to look whopping on your wrist. And so that's unfortunate. The wearability of this watch just isn't that great, you know, for all wrist sizes, that's for sure. I love it on my wrist. I think it looks great, but it is bordering on a little bit too big with that long lug to lug length, and it does angle down a little bit, which definitely helps. I like the fact that this band has quick release spring bars. Why doesn't everybody do that? Seriously, why? I'm not sure. And well, speaking of that logo that I mentioned on the crowns, it does appear that, yeah, that's going to be the Aragon logo, and so it's nicely branded there. So I do wish for other people, for their sake, for your sake, the guys with smaller wrists, that that they would come a little bit smaller on this, because it really is a beautiful watch. I also am not a huge fan of the Dauphine style handset. And as you can see, they are so similar in shape, and you know, the hour hand at times when I look down, you know, it takes a little bit longer for me to tell the time, simply because the shape of each hand is the same, and the size of each hand is almost the same. The minute hand does extend out to the rehaut, as you can see there, but sometimes you just got to double take. Of course, you've got the GMT hand. If you do have it set for your time, it helps as well, but I'm not a particular fan of this Dauphine style handset. Those are really the only two things that I don't like about this watch. And yeah, the rehaut is, as you can see, adjusts with the turn of the top crown. And in order to use the rehaut to tell what time it is in another time zone, here, let me zoom out just a little bit here. Now, I usually set the time zone for me. I'm on Eastern time zone, or New York. Well, maybe I'll zoom that back in. So New York, you can see I have New York at the 12 o'clock. So if I want to know what time it is in other major cities in the world, I would take New York and I would rotate that over to the GMT hand, the 24-hour hand. And there it is 9 a.m. exactly right now where I live and in New York. And now we can tell what time it is in any of the other major cities in the world. And so we can see London, England is sitting at 1400 hours or 2 p.m. right now. They're 5 hours ahead of us. It's now 3 o'clock or 1500 hours in Paris. It's 4 o'clock in Cairo. It is currently, and so you can see what I mean there. And so really, if this is something that you find useful, knowing what time it is in other parts of the world, if you have relatives or just good friends, this is a very simple way of calculating the time. I always put my time zone back up at the 12 o'clock just so I know where it is as soon as I want to use it on the dial. So the rehaut there is quite nice, and the action for turning that is really nice as well. And so what do you guys think of this watch? I mean, I am digging it. Let me show it to you on the wrist, and it does have a bit of lume on these hands, and so I'll show that to you now, and then we'll do the wrist check. I mentioned this does have a decent amount of lume for the hour and the minute hand. Again, because of the Dauphine shape, I guess when these start to lose a bit of their lume, you can see it's shining nice and brightly there. But do you see what I mean about maybe having a difficult time telling, is this just after 12, quarter to 1, or is this in fact shortly after 9? Those hands there are very similar in their size, and so although the lume is quite nice, again, because of that Dauphine hand shape, you can kind of see what I mean by maybe sometimes needing to do a double take on what time it is. It would have been nice in that respect if they have also lumed the GMT hand. In fact, I'm not sure why they didn't lume the GMT hand, since this is a world time watch. And if you are in the dark and needing to know based on the GMT what time it is in another time zone, if you had it set to a different time other than your home time, it's just not legible in the dark at all. And here it is on the wrist, and you can see what I mean about the wrist presence. My 7.5-inch wrist, you can see that thing spans the entire top of my wrist. In fact, it is overhanging on the top side just a little bit, but I can get away with it with the size of wrist that I have. Certainly, if your wrist is smaller than 7.5 inches, this is not going to be the watch for you. I will try and leave a link in the description where you can get this watch. I'll have to do a little bit of research for that because I didn't buy this watch. It was gifted to me. And now supercali has something that she wants to say.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry Chris isn't Dodo Brains.
Well, that's it for another episode. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, whenever you leave your house, make sure you have a great looking piece to wear on your wrist like this Aragon Caprice World Time. And make sure wherever you're going, you get there on time. Take a minute to check this video out, and please don't forget to subscribe. God bless. We'll see you in the next one.